Woo! Oh, let's see. I gotta peek and see. Everybody can hear me probably, but looks like we're live. Woo! Awesome. I actually love it when I do it right. All right. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for coming into my Thursday morning Ask the Expert. Excuse me. Last week, I had my team on. I had the guys, Sam and Tom, and this week I'm super excited because we've got Chuck from Talent Termite here, and Talent Termite is our preferred termite moisture inspection company. So super excited to have you, Chuck. Thanks for coming on. I know it's early.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So I'm like, hey, very early in the morning, can I get you to go live on Facebook with me? And you're probably like, okay, fine. So I'm really excited. So tell me a little bit about Talent Termite, because you guys have been around for how long now?
Since October of last year, it's a fairly new company. We're growing really quick. I've been doing termite moisture inspections for over 30 years, and I got out of it for a while, and then I met Nathan and the other team here, and it's almost like the mob. You think when you're out, they just pull you back in.
Yeah,
It's really
I can relate to that. And we've loved working with you guys. I mean, you and Nathan have been awesome. Tom's on here and he says hello. He says you guys are one of the best. So I know he works with everybody. We've really enjoyed it because, for all of our other local agents that may catch this, your reports are so nice. I really, really love. We get them so fast and they're so easy to understand, and it's just been a joy. And our hope loves working with you guys more than anything. So that's also a bonus. If we can make Hope happy, that's kind of what we live for, because she keeps us sane.
well, we want to make it to where it's really simple and easy for you guys.
Yeah, we love it because we try to coordinate all those inspections at the same time, right? To make it easier on both the buyer and the seller, and frankly, us as well. And so you guys make it really easy for us, and we really, really appreciate that. So I know it's, you and I have talked, and I know I've talked to Nathan too about this. And one of the things I see, obviously, I do a lot of listings for our team. And so I always ask the question when I'm meeting with a seller the first time is, how long has it been since anybody's been in your crawl space? And it's very, very frequent that I hear when we bought the home, which could be 3, 4, 5, even 10 years down the road. And I usually kind of brace at that point, right? For impact, right? Like we're probably going to see some stuff that might get a little costly in there, right? So right off the bat, one of the questions I want to ask is, how often should a homeowner have that crawl space checked?
Once a year.
Once a year, yeah. That's usually what I tell them. I mean, that's what we've been doing for our own crawl space because it's important. And why do we see so many crawl space issues here? Is it the climate?
The climate, the area that we're in. Between the months of June all the way up to August, September, it's really hot, really humid. That's really, it's good for the pest control side.
Yeah.
It's bad for the real estate side in a way, because that's when the condensation and stuff, that's when the crawl space really shows its true colors.
Yeah, so it's really dank and damp in there, right? Because it's not getting a whole lot of sunlight, right?
No.
So then we always see this thing that I think for a lot of folks that are not familiar with the Hampton Roads area, we see on our reports quite frequently, almost every time, is the words like biogrowth, right? Or fungus or something like that, which can seem very, very scary to an outsider. But it's really not that big of a deal. It's the nature of the beast, right? Because of the area and the climate we live in.
Correct. And that's why it's very important to get it checked once a year. I can check a property today, not have an issue, go out a year from now, and they've got fungus growing, but what's actually causing it to grow? Is it condensation in a crawl? Is it a vapor barrier that's not properly installed? Maybe they don't even have a vapor barrier. I mean, there's just so many things to go into a crawl space.
Right. And my crawl space could be totally different than my neighbor's crawl space, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Every house is different.
Yeah, and there's no rhyme or reason for it. I mean, we've had some very meticulous sellers, right, and homeowners who, I mean, are just super meticulous, and even like you mentioned, had their crawl space checked, and then are surprised to find there's fungal growth in there. But the important thing is, right, because what happens if it goes untreated?
And then you're opening up a whole new can of worms. Over a period of time, the wood's going to start deteriorating, rotting, and then now you're talking maybe thousands of dollars.
Yeah. We have some very, very sweet homeowners right now who are essentially having their crawl space rebuilt. Yeah. And it's unfortunate. It's because of that. And they actually live in an area with high groundwater. So I think, we sent you guys out there and it was kind of a shock for them. And it stinks, right? Because you guys get under there and we have to deliver that news, and we don't want that for any of our friends.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news.
Yeah.
I mean, I really do.
Tom had a great question. He's had a client ask once if there is such a thing as good fungus or an acceptable amount of fungus, or should all fungus just be treated?
Well, when you're dealing with fungus, I can go into a crawl space, and let's say I'm taking moisture readings out of the wood, and my moisture readings are between 12 and 14%, depending on the time of the year. If you're talking in the colder months and the moisture reading in the wood is that high, then that could be an issue.
Mm-hmm.
Talking in the summertime when it's really hot and humid, 12 to 14% is really not that bad. Fungus can't grow unless the moisture readings maintain above 20%.
Gotcha.
And it starts out as a fungal spore. It's like somebody takes pepper and just sprinkles it all over the wood. That's not a full-fledged fungus. That is a fungal spore. So there is a difference.
That's a great question. Very good question, Tom. So should our clients think about having their crawl space checked at different times of the year, right? To see if the moisture if it's high in the summertime, then we kind of expect that, like you were mentioning, because of the climate. But should they also then have it, maybe somebody get in there and check it in the wintertime in case it's high then too, indicating a bigger issue?
Yeah, again, every house is different.
Right.
I can go down to the ocean front, crawl in a crawl space, and the sand is just sandy and it's dry, right in the middle of August and September. So it really doesn't matter. But what I was really hoping to get across earlier was in those really hot, humid months, if you have issues with condensation, and it could be from shrubs around the house blocking the foundation vents, that's when a crawl space is really going to show its color. So to answer your question, if I had a crawl space and I lived in a low-lying area and I knew that water stands around, I would want to get it checked in the summer.
Yeah. I'm going to need you to come out. We're going to have to make an appointment because I definitely have some groundwater over here. Buyers have to have the inspections. All lenders require what we call it termite and moisture, right? The technical term is wood destroying insect and infestation, right?
Right.
And so the lenders all require it. And so I think one of the things that we see quite often is people assume that this is a very expensive inspection to have. And it's probably the most affordable and still most important inspections people can have. So let's say you're getting into a home and there's termites in there, right? And they need a treatment. Mm-hmm. How long is a termite treat? There's a lot of confusion out there. How long is a termite treatment good for?
It really boils down to the product.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You got a lot of different termiticides out there, liquid termiticides. Back in the day when they was using chlordane, that stuff would last 20, 30 years.
Right.
Uh, as a general rule, I would say you're probably going to get somewhere between 7 and 10 years, maybe, out of the products today.
Okay. So if you guys see evidence of past termites or non-active termites, typically we ask for proof of termite treatment. Yeah, yeah. And so that's important. So what's the difference between an annual inspection and like control services, right? Because we were talking, I have a lot of clients who say, but I have a pest control company, but their crawl space isn't getting checked, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, there's different companies offer different programs. When we go to a property and they say, well, I have my house, they're coming out every 3 months, so I shouldn't have any issues with termites. My guess is they're probably getting general pest control done, which controls spiders, ants, roaches, things of that nature. Most termite companies don't put termites in their quarterly programs. So that's a total different type of treatment, total different type of warranty. So the control measures, they're getting control for their general insects. Termite treatments, once you do a treatment on a property, you guarantee it for the first year, and then a homeowner picks up a warranty on it, just like an insurance policy. You go out once a year, you re-inspect it. If you find issues, then the company should treat it or that area for free. Yeah. Because that's what the homeowner's paying for. So it's just totally two different treatments.
So it's important that everybody looks into what they're getting right now.
Absolutely. Read their contracts and
or call you guys, right?
Or call us, absolutely.
Because you offer that, right? So you offer those different control services. But it's important, I think, to not assume that that's what you're getting. So our good friend Lisa, we love Lisa, she asked, what if you live on a slab? So we've been talking about crawl spaces, but typically when we see a slab, I get kind of excited on the termite moisture side because I'm like, whew, we don't have any worries. Are there things we should be concerned about when we live on a slab home?
Well, on a slab structure, I mean, there's only a few ways termites can enter into a slab. And the biggest thing that we've seen over the years is right behind the baseboard, the trim that goes on the bottom of the floor, there's an expansion crack. All slab homes have it, and that's where termites 9 out of 10 times will enter. So if you're living on a slab, what you want to pay attention to is, if you're vacuuming your living room and vacuum cleaner hits the baseboard and a piece of it breaks, get it checked. Most likely termites could be coming up the backside of it where you don't even see it until they swarm. That's when most homeowners know, I got an issue here. I wonder what it is. It's so, and then we're pipes, up through the slab, so they can follow the pipe route.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. And Lisa, I'm glad you asked that question. She also had another question, and I think people get shocked sometimes to know. She wants to know, do you recommend painting basement walls? Right. So we actually, I think everybody thinks there's no basements on the south side. There are definitely north up in Williamsburg and Toano and where we also serve. But we see basements in Norfolk and Portsmouth all the time, crazy as it seems. So do you recommend painting basement walls? Maybe she's referring to like maybe a dry lock or something.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Keep it painted, try to keep the sealant on it. That way no moisture or anything will try to leak through. I mean, that doesn't do anything to deter termites, though.
Yeah, that's true. It helps with the moisture, but not the termites.
It helps moisture coming through the block and stuff like that.
Well, and we've had some interesting stuff. We just moved into a new home last year. We've been here about a year now. And right after we moved in, we noticed that there was a lot of water coming into the garage. Both on the front overhead garage door and our side garage door access. And turns out we live in quite a high groundwater area. And I've seen several of the other homes, as I've been showing homes or meeting with sellers, have the same issue. And it can be kind of tough to take care of, right? Because we've noticed that there's it brings mold up into the garage and things like that as the garage is closed and stuff like that. So I'm wondering if, a dry lock or something like that might even help. Or it's tough to get to the bottom, to the solution on that one for sure.
It is. The main thing is you want to make sure you got guttering up. All your gutters are clean. You want to try to divert as much water away from your home as you possibly can.
Mm-hmm.
And again, that's for the gutters, the gutter extensions, making sure they stay clean. At the bottom of your doors where your threshold is, you want to make sure it's caulked really nice, where no moisture or anything can come up from underneath of that.
And that's actually how we solved it. Was a good. So we don't get the water anymore, thank goodness. But you brought up another great point. I see a lot of times, and recently I just saw this last weekend, where folks have gorgeous landscaping, but it is right at the foundation. I mean, I saw this last weekend meeting with a new seller, a pile of mulch that was right up to the house, but it was really draining right into the garage, and of course it was raining when we saw them, and I saw the water going right in. Do you recommend for these moisture issues that they pull some of that vegetation and landscaping away from the house? I mean, it was directly to the house.
If it's right, yeah. Well, having shrubs right up against the house, it could cause a couple of things, especially if it's blocking your foundation vents.
Mm-hmm.
You're not getting any air under your crawl at all.
Mm-hmm.
You want to make sure it's trimmed back to where it's not blocking your foundation vents. And also, it's a pathway for other insects to get into a home.
True.
Especially
yeah.
ants. Ants can crawl up and into a little crack around the window, and the next thing you know, you have an ant infestation. So I would highly recommend keeping it trimmed back and away from the home itself.
Yeah. So you just reminded me a question I have, because I've heard so many different thought processes on it. Foundation vents, open, close, some of them open. When do we open? I don't even know. I had a builder tell me something one time, and I was like, that cannot be the case. That can't be true. So what is your recommendation on foundation vents?
I've always made the recommendation, you want to open them up about mid-March, leave them open until about October, mid-October, late October, depending on the weather.
Right. Which is hard to predict here in Hampton Roads.
Yeah. But as a general rule, it's always been open them up mid-March, leave them open until about mid-October, or to when it really starts getting cold, then close them.
Our humid seasons, keep them open. Got it. Yeah. So Tom has his own question. He said, why is sand used or recommended in the crawl space?
Couple of things. Sand, if we go out and we inspect a crawl space and say you got a bunch of standing water, sand is used to elevate the crawl space up. So, in other words, let's say if you've got 3 inches of water in your crawl space, you want to put at least 6 inches of sand in there. The first 3 inches is going to bring it up to the level of where the water is, and then the next 3 inches is actually elevating it up to where it should be. So that's one of the reasons. And another reason is it gives you a nice clean surface under there.
Yeah.
And you put your plastic down on top of that.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. And that's a great question. Why the vapor barrier? Same purpose?
So all soil emits moisture.
Mm-hmm.
So, you could have a dry crawl space, but there's a certain amount of moisture coming up from the soil that's going right into your wood members. Over a period of time, the more moisture that comes up gets into the wood, it's going to cause your moisture readings to go up in the wood, which in turn might cause fungus to grow, which in turn might cause rot down the road. Yep. So the purpose for the vapor barrier is to keep that moisture in the soil.
That makes sense. Yeah, you want it down there, not on your ductwork or anything like that. And that's something else I see a lot is vapor barriers on the piping, right? Mm-hmm. So when they have it installed, they want it cut around the plumbing, right?
Correct.
And not laying on top of the plumbing kind of defeats the purpose, right?
It defeats the purpose.
We do see that a lot. I've seen quite a few termite and moisture companies, not you guys obviously, but other companies that have put it right on the plumbing fixtures, and that's never a good idea. So anything we forgot that you think is super important that a homeowner or a buyer should know or should be looking for when they're doing their real estate training, or all the time. Like they don't need to wait. Don't wait to sell your house or buy a house to start learning about this stuff.
Well, I mean, if you're walking around your property and you see a little brown mud tube going up your foundation, don't,
Yeah.
just don't think, well, I don't know what that is. I'll come back and check it later. Or if you see something and you're not sure what it is, give a professional a call. Let them come out and take a look at it. It could be nothing. And then again, it could be something that, you caught in time before there's major issues.
Yeah, get ahead of it, right?
Yeah, be very vigilant when it comes to your home. It's your biggest investment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, and things like termite and water and moisture damage are some of the most expensive things that can happen to a home. So,
Yes.
Yeah, I totally agree. I did just think of another question. So we have a lot of townhomes, obviously in Virginia Beach in particular. We often see a lot of pest control issues from townhome to townhome, right? Because they're all attached homes.
Right.
That's pretty normal, right? As well as in the attic space, not all over the house, but that's pretty typical, right? So, what are your best suggestions when we hear that on the buyer side? That somebody can do to make sure that the seller takes care of that situation.
You talking any particular pest in
Mice.
mice?
Yeah, yeah.
When you're dealing with rodents, you just want to check every opening possible that they could get into, and then seal it off. If we could get rid of them in the middle unit, but they still may, your neighbors on both sides of you may still have them, and they could come across the firewalls that run up through the attic and stuff like that. So get under a program, get it checked at least quarterly, keep it baited. At least we can keep them out of your unit.
Keep them going the other way. Yeah.
Hopefully we'll get the neighbors on both sides, and we'll take care of them as well.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's kind of the recommendation I always say is you become friends with your neighbors and try and solve because if you don't solve the whole unit, it's going to be an ongoing issue, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And you got to remember, it's all control measure. That's why companies are called pest control.
Yeah.
If we eliminated every insect out there, you guys wouldn't have any need for us.
Yeah, well, I don't want you to do that because some of them are good, right? We need some of them.
They're good, yeah. Absolutely.
We don't need all of them, but we need some of them. Yeah, no, this has been awesome, Chuck, and I really appreciate your time this morning because to me, this is probably the biggest issue I see. Like I said, is everybody not, you buy a house, you forget about it. Right? It's kind of that thing you don't think about. You're walking on it every day, the crawl space or the slab, or you're living in the walls that we need to keep and monitor for termites. But I think people kind of just put it out of their mind. It's not a very, sexy subject, right? It's not something that people like to spend a lot of money on.
No. And I will tell you, one of the things that we offer after, we get through the pandemic and everything like that, we would love to come in. Real estate's just like pest control. I mean, you get a lot of new faces, a lot of new people coming into the business. We offer a 30-minute seminar. We could come in at a breakfast meeting or something like that and really explain what we look for and why we look for it. Mm-hmm. When we go out and we inspect a property, we're protecting everybody, the buyers, the sellers, the agents, our company. So, it's a very big deal, and a lot of new agents. Just like you said earlier, why do you need a termite inspection? But
yeah,
we'd love to do something like that down the road.
We will definitely be having you guys out to do that because, I mean, absolutely a home inspection and a termite moisture inspection. I mean. Most of our clients know that you're not buying a house unless you have that. And if you forego that, even some of our cash buyers, Tom will tell you, we make them put it in writing and deny the inspection because I'm not taking the liability. But two, this is such a big investment, even for our folks that are buying, $60,000 investment properties. It is so vital and so important for them to understand what they're getting into. right?
Yes.
Because the unknown, as great as our HRVA homes agents are, we are not the experts, right? And so we want to bring the experts in, and you guys are obviously our preferred experts in this manner, but it's important. It's far more important, I think, than people know. And then, like you mentioned, the control aspect, right? So keep it checked. So when we sell that house in 10 years, I don't want to show up and hear that you didn't know you needed that crawl space checked, right? So super important.
Well, again, purpose for an inspection, you can catch them before there's damage.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, absolutely. And, be calm when you hear that fungus word. Like, it's not, listen, most crawl spaces right now, especially, it was hot yesterday. It was a little muggy. We're going to see that stuff. So no need to panic. Everybody take a deep breath, right? We got this.
Deep breath.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Chuck, thank you again. I really, really appreciate you. I know I got you early on a 9 a.m. Monday, and I know you probably got to get out there and go do some inspections. So I thank you so much. You've been awesome, and I'll see you soon. I have no doubt.
Have a great day.
Thanks. You too.
Bye.
Bye.